Hello, this is Brent, your movie theater explorer here. And today I'm here to talk about some of the recent movies I've saw in theaters and also just go through some thoughts at the end. More of what I'm going to do for my question is next year, obviously we're near the end of another year, and next year I just want to bring up thoughts on like with movies that are coming out next year. They're doing a lot of re-releases these days. Obviously, this year we had like Apollo 13, Back to the Future, Jaws, Casper, and I know there's a lot of others that happen throughout the year. And so I wanted to not necessarily speculate because I think a lot of these ones there might be like two to three that I give on this list. And again, we'll get to it near the end of the episode, but that are more of my wish list as opposed to ones that I think will happen. There are a few that I think could happen, but a lot of them are more wishful thinking. But heck, for all I know, maybe all 10 of these do happen. I'm going to give you about 10. This will be at the end of the episode. And just something I'm going to be doing. I did it last week, but I'm going to put like not a bookmark, but like just give you where my reviews start for each of these movies that I go over. As I go through quite a few, um, and so you'll be able to go through the description, see what I'm going through, and you'll be able to, if you just want to listen to a particular review of what I do, you can just jump to that one. Anyway, with all that said and done, let's go ahead and get started with some of the movies that I've seen these past couple weeks. One of the first ones was Angels and Demons. I watched that in my dedicated home theater. I This is one I picked up on 4K Ultra HD um, a while ago, and the main reason I got it was I I saw this one in theaters back when it came out, and it was cool. It had some cool cinematography, but the big highlight was the music by Hans Zimmer, and the music filling the whole soundscape was incredible in Dolby Atmos. And that's the main reason why I picked this one up on 4K Ultra HD because it contained the Dolby Atmos. It was not originally mixed as that, but they did it for this one. It was cool to listen to it that way. Um, so yeah, movies got Tom Hanks. Um, I'm forgetting the character's name. There's a it's a book series. There was a movie that was released 3 years before this one called The Da Vinci Code. So if you recognize that, this is the sequel to it. And for some reason, I've watched Angels and Demons more than I've seen The Da Vinci Code. I've only seen The Da Vinci Code once, but this one is one I enjoy rewatching. It's for me, it's enjoyable. It's really like cool cinematography and just like the soundtrack in Dolby Atmos is great. So anyway, if you're a big Hans Zimmer fan and you've liked the movie, I recommend looking for it on disc. If you want to go check it out, I'm pretty sure you can find it as a rental if you want to check it out that way. Um, Another one that I watched was Galaxy Quest. It came out last year on 4K Ultra HD for its 25th anniversary. This is one I actually saw in theaters back in 2000. It was about a couple months after its initial release. Um, like years ago, some of these movies would last more than just 3 weeks. Some of them would last a few months. Maybe not all the time, but some of them, if they did very well, they would last a good amount of months. And this was one that did. And so, yeah, I saw it in theaters. To be honest, like when I saw it, I really enjoyed it, but it didn't hit me the same way as it hit others. It Rewatching it, even last year, allowed me to appreciate it a lot more, appreciate the humor and the meta-ness and the everything. if you haven't seen it, I do highly recommend watching it, especially if you're a fan of sci-fi properties like Star Trek, um, and enjoy a really good laugh. It's very well done, and the 4K Ultra HD, the picture looked good, and the sound the sound in Dolby Atmos is really good. Again, I watched this in my dedicated home theater, so and it was a really good experience in home, a really good home theater experience. So if you're a fan of the film, you pick up movies on disc like I do, have 4K Ultra HD capabilities, have a good home theater setup, I do highly recommend getting the disc. So um, my next one is Ghostbusters Afterlife. I don't watch a lot of movies during Thanksgiving. Obviously, I think there's only a few that are Thanksgiving related movies. There might be a few more than just a few. Um, but this is one of those. It Yeah, just okay. I need to first things first. This is not a Thanksgiving movie. This is just one. For some reason, I resonate more as a Thanksgiving movie. And I think just because of the theme of family, Thanksgiving is about getting together with family and all that, um, and this is about family. About the offspring of Egon Spengler, or the grandkids of Egon Spengler, connecting and everything. So um, I really like the movie. Big Ghostbusters fan. Obviously, I really like the first one a lot. I've come to really appreciate the second one quite a bit. Known about them trying to make a third one for a while, and then after I thought they want to make it, then all of a sudden Jason Reitman announces that he was doing a legacy sequel called Ghostbusters Afterlife, um, and I became intrigued, and then obviously delays happened because it's supposed to come out July 2020. It didn't, and so it came out in November 2021. And I think that's probably why I kind of resonated more as a Thanksgiving movie, because it came out during Thanksgiving 4 years ago. Anyway, I really do like the movie. I like the surprises in it. The Some of the ones that we figured would happen, but then one at the very end, which I'm not going to spoil here, just in case you've never seen it. Um, but that surprise at the end was truly a surprise for me. Um, and something that left an emotional impact on me. So, but yeah, it's a really good movie. If you're a Ghostbusters fan, you haven't seen it, I do highly recommend checking this one out. Um, Again, I watched this one on 4K Ultra HD in my dedicated home theater, um, and again, the home theater presentation was really great. The picture was really good. The colors and details and everything looked great, and and the sound was in Dolby Atmos and was very well mixed, very well placed around the soundscape, and music was great and everything. So um, again, this is one of those movies that if you're looking for something to kind of show off some of the capabilities of your home theater, I do recommend picking this one up. Um, yeah, I really do like this movie. So um, I did watch quite a few movies in my home theater, but I also did see a few movies in theaters as well. One of those movies I did see was Wake Up Dead Man, a Knives Out, or a Knives Out mystery. So if you've never seen any of the other ones, yeah, but if you've Knives Out came out in 2019, and obviously was a really fun movie. Um, Daniel Craig played the main character as this detective, um, and I know I'm probably going to say his name incorrectly, but his character is great. He solves mysteries. In the first one, had a great cast. It came to theaters, played for at least a couple months, I think. Again, around November 2019, and then the director Ryan Johnson was asked to make a couple of more for Netflix, and so that's what he did. The first one came out in 2022. Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery is what it was called, and this was one that definitely a little bit different, but his character is fun to see, and there are definitely aspects of it that really stood out. And this one, Glass Onion, before it came to Netflix, got a very limited theatrical release, and so I got to see it twice in theaters. It was great. Um, I should note that I did see the first Knives Out movie in theaters. I saw the second one in theaters as well, and obviously in tradition, I have seen this new one, Wake Up Dead Man, Knives Out Mystery in theaters. It's I don't think it's playing in the main theaters. I believe I don't think it is. But I know I think it's playing in a few local cinemas if you have any. And I don't know how much longer it's playing. It might be too late at this point, but if it's not, if you have a way to, if you still have a theater nearby that's playing it, I do highly recommend seeing it, especially if you enjoyed this one. So just a little bit of a, so the movie I really enjoyed. Um, it definitely had a bit of a darker tone to it. Um, Definitely another star-studded cast, and yeah, Daniel Craig again is back, and he is as great as always, and plenty of laughs as always. And it's one of those that I don't want to get into too many details on the plot. Obviously, involves another murder and involves another mystery of trying to solve that murder, and but throughout the movie, I kind of it hits one point that I'm like, okay, maybe it's going this way, and thinking how it's going to resolve, and then yeah, obviously, the same as with all these, there's twists and turns, and so and there are definitely quite a few twists and turns that kept me guessing, and so yeah, definitely definitely the cinematography was great. There was definitely a lot of play of lighting in certain scenarios. Maybe you guys know what I'm talking about that I've seen it. So I obviously won't go into too many details here, but um, I definitely really like the cinematography and the use of lighting. Performances were great as always, and yeah, music and all that was great, and some of the timing of some of the humor obviously has it is a bit darker, but there is some moments that help alleviate some humor or help bring some humor into the scenario, which I've always appreciated. So yeah, again, if you have a theater that's still playing it, I do highly recommend checking it out if you're a fan of these movies. And the other one that I saw, another one that I saw in theaters recently was Zootopia 2. I went on Thanksgiving Day and went with my family, and yeah, I went to a local theater that had a premium movie theater. So this theater had a 4K image. It was definitely a really large theater, and it was a very nice theater. It had Dolby Atmos, and I do admit I was in the back of the theater, so but I feel like I was able to tell enough with how well mixed it was, and it was definitely well balanced and everything. The Yep. If you I It's been a while since I've seen the first one, but I felt like I knew it well enough that I didn't feel like I needed to rewatch the first one in preparation for this one. So I ended up not doing that. and yeah, the it does follow Judy Hopps and Nick Wilder trying to solve another case, and I'm trying to think of what to give. Again, a lot of it, so quite a bit. No, I don't. I'm not going to go too much into the details. Again, I worry what I spoil and what I don't. So I try to leave this more um, for you to experience. But features a great cast of characters. Ki Hee Kwan plays a snake. And then there's a lot of like yeah, there were even like a lot of references and all that even to some Disney properties, that one that I knew about going in, but seeing it come into play was great. I'll just say it that way. Um, yeah, it's a Disney movie that's been around for a while. I knew, like, I saw an image and I knew it was gonna be put into play in the movie. Wasn't sure how. I had one thought, and that one thought I was completely off on. So, but yeah, it was very well played, and I was laughing. Me and my parents were laughing really hard. Um, so yeah, and but yeah, it was a really good movie. This is a really fun movie to take your family to. If you are a fan of the first one, I do highly recommend checking it out. It's still really good. Um, so yeah, I've seen that one. And then going back, watched another one of my dedicated home theater, Lawrence of Arabia. And so Lawrence of Arabia, I went to go. I have not seen it all the way through. I've seen parts of it, and I felt like it was time to finally experience this movie all the way through. So I've had the movie on 4K for a bit, and so I watched it um, during Thanksgiving, and yeah, it was definitely an epic movie. It was definitely just it felt like a cinematic experience is how I would describe it. Just I posted a lot of my thoughts on my Facebook page, so you're also welcome to look up me and read some of it if I forget some of these details while recording this. But um, I'll just start off with the disc. Was the 4K Ultra HD disc was excellent in the dedicated home theater. The 4K image, the picture was great, and just the details were great, and the sound in Dolby Atmos was great and immersive. This was all very incredible and impressive. That's the word I would describe the picture and sound. Incredible. Um, like just realizing the scope of the filmmaking and experiencing it in a home theater like I did. I mean, again, this would be an incredible movie going experience, and if I ever get the chance to, I'm definitely going to try to catch it in theaters because it would definitely be an incredible theater going experience. The like even in the home theater, like the image, like the scope of the image was incredible. Like the colors of the desert, the just some of the shots from throughout the day through the very heated part of the day to the evening shots were all just incredible. Um, so yeah, the I could see why this movie is hailed as something that needs to be seen. So if you have never seen it before, I do strongly encourage watching it. Because again, especially if you're someone like me that's trying to watch more classic um, cinema, so or some older cinema movies like from the 50s and 60s, and so I was really glad I got to experience this one in my home theater. So it was definitely great. And again, it's something if I can find and see it in an actual movie theater, I will definitely be on the lookout for that. Another one I saw was A Beautiful Mind. Um, I saw this in a movie theater. I have a local movie theater that plays some older movies, and they played this one. I've never seen it all the way through. I've seen clips of it here and there. I know about some of the things that happen. Um, and I definitely thought how it unfolded was brilliant or just really good. Um, Obviously, just it starts off in one particular way, like maybe you go in knowing what's going to happen, but still, some of the things that happen are just it's like it can be kind of shocking at times. So, um, yeah, if you're this was like definitely the performances were great. Russell Crowe, Jennifer Connelly, Paul Bettany, Ed Harris were definitely some of the main performances. There are other ones here and there, and even ones that I'm like I didn't even realize a few particular actors were in this, and it was cool pointing them out. It's like, oh wait, I recognize that person. So, um, yeah, definitely well performed. Definitely good use of cinematography, good use of all the technical aspects. Um, yep, if you're a big fan of someone that enjoys dramas, I do highly recommend seeing this one. I don't know if there's any I should know next year's the 25th anniversary. Maybe they may put it back in theaters for a week or whatnot. So if you haven't seen, if you want to try to experience it that way, be on the lookout for that. Um, and yeah, but I do recommend trying to catching this one. This one's worth it. Couple of other, uh, yeah, a couple another ones I'm going to touch on briefly. I'm just gonna, yeah, The Empire Strikes Back, Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back. I've watched, I re-experienced it watching my dedicated home theater, and I picked it up on 4K Ultra HD, and so I watched it that way, and it was definitely a great home theater experience. The picture quality was good. Details stood out, and just having the whole scope of the picture was cool. Um, and the sound in Dolby Atmos was really good as well. I wanted to share one aspect in. I mean, again, I'm going to share one aspect. Let's start there, and then um, one aspect that actually sounded really cool and kind of gave an idea of how impressive the immersiveness of the Dolby Atmos was. And I think this is probably how it was in any movie theater, but it's just something like obviously a lot of these movies. I grew up watching the Star Wars movies as a lot of kids in my age, more watching on TV. Even on video cassette was through a TV. So not getting the full scope of the sound and maybe not really picking up all these little details. But anyway, um, one part is when Luke Skywalker's in this snowstorm near the beginning of the movie, um, and all of a sudden, like he's going in and out, and he has one moment where he can see Obi-Wan Kenobi in the distance in his ghost form, in which he's told to go to Dagobah to be instructed by Yoda. Um, Hopefully, I'm not spoiling anything for you guys. If you haven't seen it before, stop and go check it out. Um, but anyway, so during this moment, the reason I bring it up is during this moment, you're hearing all the winds circulating throughout the soundscape, and then all of a sudden, when Obi-Wan shows up, the sounds, the storm sounds, or the wind sounds basically start to lessen a little bit, and you're like you can still kind of notice that they're present, but they're not as present. And after Obi Wan Kenobi disappears, the wind starts coming back up again, and it was just kind of a cool thing to hear that way. Um, yeah, but obviously I've seen Empire Strikes Back at least a couple of times in theaters. Once in 1997 for the 20th anniversary of the original Star Wars. So they put back the whole original trilogy in theaters, and that was awesome. I got to see all three of them in theaters during that run, and that was awesome. The other one was in 2020 for its 40th for the Empire Strikes Back's 40th anniversary. So um, great experiences both times, and great to have that home theater. Great to experience this in the home theater again. So, if you're a big fan, you have a good home theater setup. I do recommend picking up the this. I'm pretty sure all the whole Star Wars trilogy is probably worth at least picking up on 4K Ultra HD because hey, Star Wars trilogy. I mean, yeah, I can go on the whole way of like I'm more of a fan of the way they were before the alterations, but hey, this is still a really cool way to experience the movies. Okay, I'm not going to go into this one too long because I've talked about it before. But Predator Badlands, I've shared my thoughts a couple of episodes ago. I saw it in IMAX when it came out, and I shared my out of the theater reaction. I wanted to go see it again. I thought it was a cool experience, and so it's still playing in theaters. And so I thought, you know what? Why not go see it again? So I went to go see it again, and this was a smaller theater. Like this theater had maybe just a little more than 50 seats. This was at a Cinemark theater, and and the reason I bring this one up is because uh, I I mean picture was good, and but the one that stood out was the sound. I didn't even realize like how how much of a power of a punch um, that this sound experience has in theaters, and I think they cranked it up a little bit more, but it was still awesome to have it that way. Because again, I'm thinking like, yeah, usually when you're in a smaller theater, it's not going to be as loud, and it felt like they cranked it up pretty well. And honestly, I think even the one I went to, I noticed maybe a couple things off. But when I saw Tron Ares in theaters a month ago in a normal movie theater after being out of the premium theaters, it still sounded very impressive in a small theater. And this one here, Predator Badlands, was still impressive in the small theater that I went to. Hopefully, if you guys haven't seen it and want to go see it, that you have maybe the same experience that I did. But um, but yeah, if you haven't seen it, you enjoy science fiction adventure movies, I do recommend checking this one out. Still, it's still a fun movie. I think it's going to be still playing a little bit longer. I think it's been doing fairly well in theaters, so I think it's still within the top 10 of the box office, if I'm not mistaken. Not sure where, but yeah. Um, and then this last one I do want to touch on. I went to go see Rental Family actually earlier today, probably like a few hours ago. So, and I had an interest in seeing it. So it's Brandon Fraser. He's an actor, and he's hired to basically play a role, um, various roles in certain people's lives, and and you kind of find out what this is all about pretty early in the movie. You find out what the main goal is, and everything. And it was actually a really good movie, honestly. Um, let's see. The performances were great. The big standout is Brandon Fraser. Yeah, I thought he did a great job in it. And and so yeah, and then the cinematography was great. The There obviously this focuses a lot on the characters, so you get a lot of shots more focused on the characters capturing their emotions and everything. But then you get a lot of good like shots of the city of Tokyo. um, I presume it's Tokyo they're in. um, and then there's other parts of Japan that they go to at certain point. And there were some really gorgeous shots in the movie. so of Japan. And so yeah, just a great use of cinematography. Music was good. The um, the sound mix was good. The Again, I saw this in a regular theater at a local Cinemark, so wasn't like a premium experience or anything like that, but it was definitely still well put together. This is one of those like it's it's more of an independent feeling, or a movie that feels more like an independent movie to me. And I think it kind of was. I don't think it had a high budget, but it was released, I think, by Fox Searchlights. You know what? I'm going to take a moment to just quickly look and just make sure that that's accurate. Um, Family, I think, yep, Searchlight Pictures. So yeah, um, so yeah, the movie was released by Searchlight Pictures. I'm sorry, it's Searchlight Pictures now. So obviously the names changed when 20th century um, 20th Century Studios was bought by Disney. Obviously, formerly 20th Century Fox and Fox Searchlights. It's now 20th Century Studios, of course, and then Searchlight Pictures, and that's what this was released by. So anyway, but it's more of a drama, but it does have a lot of comedic elements. There are moments that there's a few moments that I laughed pretty good, but again, it's not like you're laughing hysterically or anything like that. It's just a few moments that have moments of good nature and all that. I do recommend seeing this one if you enjoy those kind of movies. Okay, those are what I've seen recently. So I went through quite a bit. Um, my last question, the question that I said I would go through, as you are aware, a bunch of movies have gone through a lot of re-releases these last number of years, and they're putting movies back into theaters. Some for a week, some just for a night, for like Fathom events. So this is more of um, since there's like big anniversaries, so like 45th anniversary, 40th, 35th, 30th, 25th. Um, so those kind of anniversaries, and I'm picking ones that I feel like fit that criteria that I would personally like to see come to theaters. And I should say a few of these could potentially be get re-releases. There's a couple I look at that I could maybe see a couple of those happening. But I'm just going to run through the list. Um, Short Circuit from 1986. It is hitting its 40th anniversary next year. It would be cool to see that get a re-release and get to see that in theaters. I would think that if that did happen, I think it'd be more like a Fathom event. Hoosiers, another one that's a 40th anniversary um, next year. So, and that would be kind of a cool one to see in theaters, especially with, yeah. So, again, I think that if that happened, I would think it'd be like a Fathom event if it did. Um, One that I would like to see in I've seen in theaters. I saw it when I was younger, but I saw Atlantis: The Lost Empires. Next year is its 25th anniversary. I know certain Disney movies will hit theaters from time to time for re-releases. Star Wars ones are definitely very well known for that. I like to think this one could get a re-release. We'll see, but again, I fingers are crossed that something cool like that would happen. It would be really cool to see that in theaters. Mission Impossible, 30th anniversary next year. Obviously, spawned a huge, yeah, huge saga basically, and so it'd be cool to see. I mean, again, I don't know how well the Final Reckoning did in theaters this summer, but I still think it'd be kind of cool for them to just put back in theaters and get to experience the old one, how it all started again. So Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Next year's the 40th anniversary. I did see this in theaters back in a couple years ago, and it was fun. But it'd be cool, like, hey, for a Fathom event, going to see with a bunch of people and just laughing at various parts. Um, Another Disney movie, The Rocketeer. Next year's its 35th anniversary. That would I vaguely have memories of seeing that in theaters when I was very young. Not very strong, but I do remember going to see it. I would like to experience that one again in theaters. Um, Space Jam, 30th anniversary next year, and I've never seen it in theaters. It would be kind of cool to see that one in theaters. The Karate Kid Part 2, again, next year's its 40th anniversary. I've seen the first one in theaters in 2020. It'd be cool to see this one in theaters. Um, I don't know the likelihood of it happening, but still be cool. An American Tail. Uh, Next year's its 40th anniversary. It's done by Don Bluth, and I would like to see this one come to theaters and get to experience it in theaters. Um, I would like to think that this could happen. I've heard that there's a documentary of Don Bluth that has been finished. Had its premiere in I forget where, so I'm not gonna go into it. It's not in a festival or anything like that. It was just played for a few people, and so I think they're getting ready to put it in festivals. I think, and hopefully get a theatrical release. But I'm thinking with that, my hope is fingers crossed. Like, hey, here's a movie about Don Bluth. Well, here's one of his movies. I don't know if that will happen, but fingers crossed. And the last one I'm just going to say is Star Trek: The Voyage Home. Um, Not sure if that would happen, but probably other ones could. But that would be a cool one to experience in a movie theater. Anyway, those are just 10. There's a bunch of others that would be awesome. Those are just ones I'm just choosing to share at this time. Think about what would be ones that you would like to see get a re-release next year. Um, and heck, they don't have to be the anniversaries. They can even be like a big wish fulfillment that even if you don't think it's going to happen, even putting it down, never know. Something could happen. Anyway, um, that's it for today. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Movie Theater Explorer. This is Brent here, and I hope you have a great rest of your evening. Thank you. Have a good evening. Bye.